Let's get talking. And the subject matter of discuss this morning is a very, I want to say one more very interesting one, because it's something that has been in the public domain for quite some time right now. And celebrities also lashing in, of course, lending their voice to this particular issue. Some being on the good part, some being on the negative part, if I must say. Because if you listen to what most of them had to say about internet fraudsters, you will wag your head and wonder how they came to those conclusions.
When I actually saw the topic, I said it's in a very timely moment at this time, where the economy of the Nigeria right now it's a little bit slow and people are trying to go into a whole lot of things that are not right, just trying to make ends meet. And I think it's very timely. Now, if you look at it, fraud in Nigeria, now it's not as if there are not frauds in other places, around the globe. But why we're particular about Nigeria is because this fraud in Nigeria has become something like a beautiful, nothing. It has become a beautiful nothing, and it has become a trend. I look at it as it can become a trend. For example, I actually looked at it from the aspect of the fact that, first of all, it was the fact that we were not too old to leave political offices. That was the first one, that was trending. A lot of old political officers do not want to leave political offices for the young ones to come in. And then the young ones now looked at it and said, okay, since you guys are not leaving for us to come in, we are still not too young to, to serve. We're not too young to compete and run for these political offices. And now, the one that's trending all over the internet now is that we're not too young to scam.
That is a very sad trend.
It's a very sad trend. And there are a lot of old speculations about this same trend on the internet and everywhere,
Now, is it worrisome that we have celebrities, the likes of Naira Marley? You do know that the recent rant between himself and Rugged Man. Rugged Man has come out to say this is wrong, and of course it should not be supported. But the likes of Naira Marley even went as far as doing a song promoting internet fraud, promoting Yahoo, the locals palace call it that way, promoting that. And of course you see many youths right now probably lashing onto this because probably their role models, so to say, are actually glorifying this particular act.
I think going by that, it's still based on, no matter whoever is glorifying a particular thing in society, it still boils down to your moral values and your philosophy as an individual. Now, if you look at the fact that you as an individual, ask what are your value system? Your value system actually determines the kind of role models that you have. And another thing again is when you look at people living flamboyant lifestyles, like, for example, musicians, comedians in quote, that's not their real life.
True.
It's just part of the act. It's called showbiz. They show off what entices you for you to patronize their business. So that's not their real lifestyle. There are a whole lot of them flaunting all those things and all that. And when they are done with those, they are as broke as nothing. So if you allow those kind of, shallow things to influence your thoughts, it simply means one thing: you do not have a value system. Number two, you don't even have a philosophy that guides your life in the first place. And then coming to that other area of people that are actually supporting this kind of trend, everyone is entitled to his own opinion. But one thing that is very common is the fact that no matter whatever it is that you say, anything that is bad. Fraud, whether internet fraud, whether offline fraud, whether money laundering fraud, every fraud is a no-no situation. Now, the reason being the fact that I heard the musician Faz has been flogging on this issue a whole lot of times. He has been kicking against it a whole lot of times. And when you hear some of the songs that he produces, in line with those kind of things, it tries to discourage those kind of things, both in government, both among the youths, and both in every sector of the economy. So fraud is not something that I think anyone should buy into, because it's something that you engage into. It gives you something and takes everything back from you. It gives you something and then takes everything back from you. And if you look at it in a real way, you see that this fraud of a thing, let's not just look at it or restrict it to just cyber, crime alone. Let's look at it in two major areas. First of all, this fraud in Nigeria actually, exists in two major areas. First of all, it exists among the old and the elderly people, which are those in political offices and those in leadership positions all around the globe, whether being it in the religious sector, the political sector, the official sector, in corporate organizations.
Are you talking about money laundering?
Exactly. That's where I'm going to. Money theft and laundering. You see a lot of people doing those kind of things. And the wise man once said something. He said, don't tell me what to do, show me what to do. And a lot of people in those leadership positions, they are not living by example. So whatever it is you do, these young ones are seeing you every day, and their mind is like, okay, let it get to my position, I will do my own and live there. And the reason that is causing all these things, which we're going to look at, some of the causes of this major thing, it's very, very alarming. So the ones that usually occur among these elderly people in form of money laundering and every other thing is also a major fraud that we should look into, should be checkmate, and should be disciplined according to the right way. They're looking at it from the area of the young people. That's where you now talk about cybercrime. So these two, money laundering and cybercrime, are the same fraud done in different ways. Because you can't actually pick the money that is supposed to be used for the masses to make policies and things to be easier so that businesses and the economy can be industrialized. And then you take that particular money into another nation in a disguised form. And then you expect your economy and the people that you're supposed to use that money for to keep suffering. They won't suffer and just stay like that. So if you look at it now, it's just like a man holding a gun and shooting himself by the leg. So if you look at it, everything boils down to the leadership, structure and all. But let's just look at critically into something. There's something I always tell people. When you want to look for a solution for a problem, first of all, check it through the cause. There are major causes that actually, bring about these things. I'm not saying that whatever cause we're going to be discussing today, it's a moral justification for you to go into fraud. But the truth is that your value system and your perception about life is what counts.
Has a role to play.
That's the major thing that controls you. Everybody faces hardship. Everybody faces a whole lot of struggles in life and all that. It's part of the journey. There's no shortcut to wealth creation or success. You must understand that the elevator to success is always out of service, but the stairs are usually available, no matter what you want to look at it. Now look at some of the causes of these fraudsters, why they go into these things, either in public offices or whatever. One of them is hardship. There's a lot of hardship everywhere. Now, the reason being the fact that it's due to either misappropriation of funds or misapplication of funds. Now, the funds that are supposed to be used by the government and the officials, that have been allocated those things to, they're actually either mismanaging it or using it in the wrong direction. Therefore, at the end of the day, that problem is not going to affect them. They're not going to affect their kids. They're going to affect the grassroots masses.
Exactly.
And the grassroots masses, there's a way you can actually push a man to the war. And when it gets to the war, he has to turn back. Exactly, he has to turn back and then retaliate. You understand? So that's the major thing. Hardship is something that, tends to push people or inspire or motivate them into going into fraud. And then they begin to look for shortcuts. Because fraud is actually a shortcut, to get to where you want to go into. And the next thing again, I see that is a major cause for fraudsters being, doing all these things repeatedly, in spite of the general publicity of everything that's been done, is the fact of bad examples. When people see bad examples from either anybody that is higher above them, definitely they will want to copy that same thing and duplicate it. And that's how it is. A lot of young people that are doing internet fraud today, they will tell you it's an advanced way of what we're doing, what our politicians are doing. It's just an advanced way of, let's do what they are doing. Maybe they are stealing the country's money. Let's look for other ways to be able to steal other people's money, whether we're using cybercrime or not. It's not a problem. And just like you rightly said, it has actually moved from just doing cybercrime to ritualists. They started using people, from every side and try as much as possible to make sure that they get this money done and dusted.
Now, the role of the parents, the family also cannot be overemphasized, because if you take a chronology right now, if you go out there now and probably do what do they call it right now, research, okay, and go from home to ask questions, you will find out that a huge chunk of Nigerians, especially in this side of Nigeria right now, would readily tell their children, say, no be your mates.
Correct.
They do the same thing.
Correct.
And of course, they go as far as, even, I heard of a case where the father went as far as providing the material for the child to actually do this.
It's true. It's true. And that's a major part that we really need to nail, that we really need to nail, It's a responsibility for all of us. All and sundry must put on deck to make sure that this cybercrime is eradicated. So you can look at how this fraudulence or this glorification of fraud has made a whole lot of young people, disgrace the Nigerian passports all over the globe. And this is a huge pain on us as a nation. So I want to speak to everyone out there. If you know that you're in a capacity to be able to try as much as possible to change the mind of just one person, it's about changing the mind of one person at a time.
And the ripple effect happens.
Exactly, and the ripple effect happens. It's not about just coming out to say we're hosting a program for young people and you come and do all blah, blah, and you talk and all that, and that's it. No. You come and you change one person's mind at a time. These people are peer groups. If you're able to change 1, 2, 3 of that peer group, they will be able to influence the others. But if you're trying to be able to change all of them at the same time, it doesn't work. So it's a very major issue. Then looking at the area of the parents, trying to put unnecessary pressure on these kids that now pushes them into this act. I think parents should cut it down. Reason being the fact that for you to be able to put a pressure on the child, ask yourself, have you given that child all the necessary tools that he or she needs to succeed in life?